La gripe espagnole, or la pesadilla, better known as the Spanish flu, was a super deadly strain of avian influenza that killed over 50 million people worldwide in the early 20th century, including right here in Providence, where Teddy Roosevelt looked it right in its germy face and said, "Try me." First, let's get a key fact straight. The disease most likely didn't originate in Spain. The name stuck mostly because Spain's neutrality in World War I made it unpopular with pretty much everyone. However, depending on where you were, the epidemic was also known as Flanders grippe, Bombay fever, wrestler's fever, la coquette, Bolshevik fever, and Blitz Catarrh, which, despite sounding like a Klingon battle cry, is the German name for it. Providence lost 1,752 people in 1918 due to the Spanish flu. The first local cases reported were from a small naval facility known as the Rumford Rifle Range, which was located only a few miles across the Providence River. Fort Adams in Newport and the Green Hill Coast Guard Station also reported several cases as U.S. troops rotated in and out of the war effort. Many of the cases were admitted to Providence hospitals, bringing the sick into direct contact with city residents, and by the last week in September, there were well over 100 documented cases in the city's hospitals. Then it spread, rapidly. To prevent further spread, the city closed schools, theaters, and banned public meetings. Churches were told to close their doors as well, but were still allowed to hold regular services one day per week, because viruses need their rest on the Sabbath. One event, however, was allowed to proceed. Former President Teddy Roosevelt was scheduled to be the keynote speaker at a Liberty Loan rally to be held on October 17, 1918 in downtown Providence. A majority of the members of the State Board of Health urged then-Governor Robert Beekman to cancel the event, but Dr. Charleschapin, not to be confused with Charlie Chaplin, was the Providence Superintendent of Health at the time. Disagreed and, in classic Mayor from Jaws fashion, demanded they open the beaches.
Those beaches will be open for this weekend.
Said he saw no reason for not holding the Liberty Loan rally, as long as those who felt sick did not attend. Guess he really wanted that selfie with the hero of San Juan Hill. In fact, Chapin believed, the epidemic should be left to run its course, saying, "The children, if turned out of school, will mingle on the streets. People turned out of churches or other places will mingle just the same all other days of the week in streetcars, factories, or places of business." The time for such an order, Chapin said, was several weeks prior, when there may have been some positive impact. So basically, too little, too late, in his opinion. The Liberty Loan Committee and the governor agreed with Dr. Chapin, and the rally was held. It was actually in this rally that Teddy Roosevelt famously said, "We will accept no peace save the peace that follows unconditional surrender, and we will get that peace with the machine gun and not with the typewriter." It's hard to imagine Teddy Roosevelt throwing typewriters at German soldiers, and yet you're picturing it right now, aren't you? Unfortunately, Spanish flu feared neither machine guns nor typewriters, and continued to ravage Providence's population. Roosevelt died 3 months later. No, not from Spanish flu. He had already beaten that once, actually, but from a pulmonary embolism. Through numerous efforts by both local and state governments, medical professionals, and charitable organizations, the Spanish flu was eventually brought under control, but not without the loss of thousands of Providence citizens and draining of the coffers of several relief organizations. The aftermath was just as bad as the disease itself. But let's end this video on a high note. We're not responsible for the death of Teddy Roosevelt. Why? Did someone tell you that? Because we're not. This video is a collaboration between Little Fire and the Providence City Archives. For more on Providence history, visit the link below.